Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Gadget Nation. This is season 12. Obviously that means this is a brand new episode. We're here in a location we've never been to before, which is Art Cube. Very nifty, lots of artwork behind us, as you can see at the top floor of the Intermart. Do check it out if you are in the KL area. Now, there are some changes here for the new season. We have a guy coming in, Zakun Yazid. He's going to be taking a look at some games and some apps. He's going to be helping me out, etc. So really looking forward to seeing what he has to offer. Do give him a very warm welcome. There are some other changes. For example, there's plenty to come up on the show, but before we start that, let's go over to G News, Gadget News for this week.
Codename, Cavalry are designed with industry-changing new features that deliver superior compute and heart-pounding gaming performance. It is the most advanced and developer-friendly performance to date.
Okay, MSI is world #1 to launch the more powerful and latest graphic card for NVIDIA GeForce 880, and MSI is also the #1 to launch the world first one ultra gaming notebook for GS60 Ghost. So this one is only 1.9 kg and also the most thin the ultra gaming notebook. So we are proud to say that these two the whole the product line MSI has already launched this year will bring to all the users for best experience.
Samsung Malaysia Electronics announced the 5th generation of the Galaxy S series. It combines an advanced camera, fast network connectivity, dedicated fitness tools, and enhanced device protection features as consumers stay fit and connected in style.
Reviews. I sat down and checked out two phones. One of them is incredibly well anticipated. It's really hard to understate, and it's probably the worst kept secret in the history of the phone business, the new offering from HTC. But how does it compare to something from, say, Acer? So we sat down with the brand new HTC One and compared it to one of the new offerings from Acer as well. And let's face it, the mobile phone market constantly evolving, constantly changing. So what exactly do they bring to the table? Okay, so let's jump straight to it. I got some mobile phones in front of me, rather excited, I have to say. One is from HTC, the other is from Acer, so we're going very much Taiwanese today, I would like to think. So, as you can see, we have a big, massive Acer phone right in the foreground of the shot right there. We'll get to that shortly. I'm going to put this to one side first to talk about the other phone, which is right here underneath. I have a very, very cool, very hyped up phone. This is the HTC One M8. It's very, very cool, very nice, very sleek. In terms of Android phones, it's probably the best looking one in my opinion. I mean, look at that body, it is absolutely stunning. We're talking 5 inches. It's an extremely powerful phone. It's very, very nifty indeed. So what are the key differences for this HTC compared to last year, apart from the obvious screen size? Well, one gripe for many people out there, and myself included, was the original HTC One did not have expandable storage. Now, when the likes of Samsung are always putting it into their phones, it was a bit of a letdown. However, with the M8, we now finally have an expandable storage side piece here. So obviously there's variations on the model, 16 GB or 32, etc. But you can stick in your micro SD card and it's good to go. You get a lot more memory. Speaking of memory, it seems that HTC have got a little deal whereby you get 50 GB free on Google Drive as well. The moment you open Drive on the phone for the first time, ask you to sign in and you get that. One slight letdown is, as you can see right there, your back button, your home button are all part of the screen, whereas the older one, it was part of the base itself. They've opted to keep the HTC logo there. You can't do anything at all with it. That's just, for me, wasted real estate on what is actually a very, very nice screen, which, by the way, has slightly less PPI than the previous one, but to the naked eye, you will really not be able to tell the difference. So due credit to them for that fantastic job. Now, one thing I should add is the camera at the back. You may notice some differences here. It's got two lenses, as opposed to the silver one in my left hand here, which has only one lens. Now I need to expand a little bit on the camera. It's great if you're really big into Instagram and putting up pictures on Facebook. It's not so good if you want bigger pictures when you can crop it, you can zoom in, because you will see a massive difference between this camera here with the ultra pixels compared to something from, say, the S5 or an iPhone or any of the other brands out there. It really loses out in terms of cropping and detailed images. Another thing to add, battery life. Oh, it's really good. I mean, it's using the 801 Qualcomm Snapdragon, so it's a step up from before, and it really, really does a fantastic job. I mean, it's only gone up an additional 300 mAh to 2600 from the previous iteration, but it does a very good job of managing the actual power inside of here. And I put that down to the processor. And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, it does come shipped with KitKat as well. What else is there to mention about this flagship device for HTC? Well, speakers. I mean, last year, the speakers absolutely blew me away. It was using the Beats audio. Well, that partnership with Beats no longer exists. So now they've got their boom sound speakers. The quality is amazing. You will not find a mobile device with better speakers than the one right here. So what do I think about this in closing? It's a really good device. So we go from this, which is nicely in my hands, to this, which is a lot bigger. This reminds me of a transformer. I can imagine this transforming into a little mini Optimus Prime or something. It is the Acer Liquid S2. It comes in a black and red hue, either or, and it really is quite nice. I like the feeling in the back. It's not too plasticky, it's got this rubbery feel, and it's rather nifty. One thing that sets this apart from the other phone which I just showed you, the HTC One, is it's got a proper camera, 13 megapixels. You can record 4K videos, and the other one can't, simply because 4 megapixels, you need at least 8 megapixels. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Firstly, it's a rather powerful little device. Now, the other one uses a Snapdragon 801. This is still on the 800. But by no means is that slow or laggy. I mean, it's still really, really top notch, and it's really, really cool. I mean, look at that screen. I have to say, it is beautiful. It really, really is. One thing about Acer is they truly believe in the entire Google Android experience itself. So they haven't really tweaked too much. I'm gonna unlock it before it actually shuts down on me again. And it's beautiful. I mean, the screen itself, the way they've done all the tiles, the icons, it really is an absolute beaut to look at. I'm a huge, huge fan of this. Now, it does come as a 16 GB model, but like the other one, and I'm always stressing how much I love micro SD card slots, this also has micro SD. You'll definitely need it. If you're gonna be shooting in 4K, you will rapidly run out of memory very, very, very fast. Now here's where it gets rather interesting. I want to show you the back. This is a 13 megapixel autofocus camera, but it's this ring flash right here. I'm not sure how well you can pick up with that. If you know anything about photography, you would know that there's these flashes you can use as a ring for lighting, and it's really, really nice. But for this, well, it wasn't that great, let's put it that way. I mean, I felt sometimes it was a bit too much. Also, it will only turn on if you have 30% battery or more. If you go below 30%, it won't, so it's a bit prohibitive in that sense, which for me is not exactly a good thing. I think 30% is still a lot. And on top of that, if you're running lower memory, You put this into power saving mode, and it'll like literally shut down operations on 50% of the phone itself. So there's still quite a few limitations, in my opinion, of what you can and cannot do. Saying that, however, it is still a fantastic device to use. I mean, there's not too many bells and whistles apart from the size itself, but it really is quite good.
Hey guys, I'm Zach and your new host here on Gadget Nation, and I'm going to be presenting to you mobile apps and video games. If you'd like to know a little bit more about me, then well, I've been using computers ever since I was 4 years old in the early 90s, and I've been gaming ever since, so hopefully you'd think that my opinions are worthwhile. Meanwhile, I should say that we're here at Core Design Gallery in SS15, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic set as well, don't you think? For this first episode, I'm going to jump right into the deep end and show you not just an app, but a technology which they have recently released to the public as an SDK or a software development kit. It's called Spritz, and it's a speed reading technology. Now, I know there's a lot of speed reading techniques out there and a lot of speed reading apps, but this one has taken it a little bit further. As a quick demonstration, for example, I could pick, let's say, 300 words a minute. And as you can see, it's showing one word at a time with a focus point. This is what they're calling focused reading in their Reading Reimagined concept. Now, limitations of the technology are, of course, numerous. For example, it can't show content where it's positional, like in a table or under graphs or things like that. And it also can't show full sentences at a time, which means if you're trying to learn the language or not particularly fluent in, let's say, English, which it's designed to do right now, it might be a little difficult to keep track, so you might not be able to get as fast as you want. But with a little bit of practice and a little getting used to how this new technique works, you might actually be able to reach maximum speed, which, let's say, is here, 700 words a minute, which it just blazes by. So it might be a little too fast for you at the start, but we might get used to it in the future. Overall, this is not an app by itself, but a lot of apps out there are already using Spritz in their technology to boost their functionalities. And it's even being used on websites, so you could Spritz a website. Imagine that. Imagine spritzing Wikipedia, especially the day before that examination, don't you think? So this could actually be revolutionary, and we really have to keep an eye on it to see how it develops over the next year or so.
MEASAT Global Berhad held a unique school competition in conjunction with the MEASAT-3b satellite launch. This competition was organized as part of its program to inspire and develop future leaders for the Malaysian satellite industry.
Setiap partisipan sebenarnya kita telah sediakan semua peralatan yang serupa untuk membina sebuah roket yang bermotorkan air dan angin, dan tujuan mereka adalah untuk membina roket ini, dan dengan kreativiti yang mereka ada, mereka boleh lakukan apa-apa saja bentuk roket asalkan ianya boleh terbang setinggi yang mampu. Kemudian roket berkenaan mampu turun balik ke bumi dengan parachute ataupun dengan payung terjun yang sesuai, terbuka dengan baik dan selamat mendarat di muka bumi lah.
Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Mahmud, Terengganu, emerged as the winners in a water rocket competition. The school was among 13 other top science schools in the country that took part in the competition. The team won an all-expenses-paid trip to view the launch of Malaysia's largest satellite from Coral, French Guiana.
Antara sebab kejayaan kami adalah kami banyak membuat rujukan di internet. Kami mengambil contoh daripada Johan roket air dunia. kami juga selalu membuat latihan di sekolah. Dan kerjasama antara kami juga merupakan antara faktor penting membuatkan kami menang pada hari ini.
Apart from going to Kerau to witness the launch of the MEASAT-3b satellite, the Team Terengganu boys also received the latest Samsung Galaxy S5 smartphone each to document their experiences during the trip.
Sebagai seorang guru fizik, saya sangat berbesar hati kerana pelajar telah memenangi pertandingan ini dan saya berharap mereka akan terus maju ke hadapan terutama dalam bidang engineering. Dan kepada MEASAT kami ucapkan jutaan terima kasih kerana menganjurkan pertandingan seperti ini. Kami harap di tahun-tahun hadapan akan ada lagi pertandingan yang seperti ini.
The two runner-up teams, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tuanku Said Putra Perlis and Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Muhammad Jiwa Kedah, took second and third place and walk away with Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 10.1 and Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0 smartphones respectively.
You are invited on an extraordinary journey through the darkest forests and the deepest caves, pursued by the angriest orcs and the hungriest trolls.
Video games. I absolutely love them, as you realize. So, in the time that we've been off air for a few weeks, I've sat down and played plenty of games, and one of them, well, I'm quite excited because I enjoy the previous iterations done by this group. I'm talking about LEGO, by the way. They've come out with some really fantastic games. The latest offering is none other than The Hobbit. Yep, not Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy. This is a new one based on the first two films. So how does it compare to the Batman LEGO game, or better yet, the Marvel one, which was the previous, license which they used for their video game series? Let's find out.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
What? No, no. We do not want any adventures here. Good morning. Fair enough.
So, we get on to a brand new game, and I'm rather excited by it. Now, I'm using the PS4 for this review, in case you're wondering, to test out one of the newer PlayStation 4 games. As you can probably guess, it's sitting right there in front of you. It is LEGO's The Hobbit. Now, the story encompasses the first two Hobbit movies, not the final one, which hasn't come out, of course, but it ends effectively where the Desolation of Smaug ends as well. So a little bit of a cliffhanger if you've seen the movie. I'm not going to say anything else apart from that. So, what did I think of The Hobbit, the LEGO version? Well, it's there and not quite back again in terms of the journey. But if you're a fan of the series, it should entice you, and also there's a few tweaks to the gameplay to keep things really exciting. But take nothing away, at its core, it really is a LEGO game.
You are invited on an extraordinary journey through the darkest forests and the deepest caves.
I really do enjoy playing the game, but at its core, just as it is at a LEGO game, it really just sticks to the same mechanics. Predominantly, it's a button masher. You're going to go around, you're going to smash everything, you're going to collect as many coins as you can, as many extras as you can as well. There's no differentiating between all the other Marvel games that we've seen in that aspect. There are certain tweaks to the gameplay though. For example, you may suddenly find you're collecting all sorts of items. Before you're collecting, you're probably wondering why. Until you get to certain points in the game, you realize all those items you collect are needed to build stuff. Even as something as simple as a key, you will need to collect the items along the way, smashing everything up, getting the items you need, which will have a slightly different glowing aspect about it, so you know it can be saved and used for later. So straight away, that's something we didn't see in the previous game. So obviously, a bit of a plus point. Also, there's all sorts of little different challenges. There's little rhythm challenges. You have to press, for example, square at a certain time as you see this thing going left and right. You have to hit it right in the middle by pressing square. That's just a small example, but like I said, everything else is you run around and you smash and smash and smash and collect as many things as possible. Most of the characters really are very similar, and you really have to be careful and understand their ability. For example, one character can actually swing across and the others have to jump onto him to swing. Another character will have his hammer and only he can knock certain things into place in order to get the mechanism going. But apart from that, there's really not too much variation, so a slight letdown in that. However, maybe the characters are not as developed as much as I want. I mean, I'm talking about a Lego character. How much development can there actually be? But the environment looks vibrant, it looks rich, it looks so beautiful. Traverse Tales, the guys behind the game, have done a wonderful job at replicating the goblins, for example, into Lego characters and incorporating them into different elements. For example, there's one level where you're with Bilbo and you'll have to have this very ditzy, very out-of-it goblin in order to complete that level. So great thumbs up to that, to Traverse Tales, who are really developing some of the lower characters which you're not really going to use, but obviously add to the entire environment of the game itself. So definitely a plus point there.
Pursued by the angriest orcs and the hungriest trolls.
Can we cook him? We can try.
Every mission you complete will unlock different things, different missions that you could do within the level that you've already done. If you want to go from one end of the map to the other, you can call an eagle to come and take you. Also, you can go to the campfire, so you can actually change the time of day, or rather change it into night or back into day, etc., which in turn will also unlock more side missions that you can do once you finish the game. So obviously the replayability factor is there and it's really quite fun, I have to say, so thumbs up in that. Now in terms of the whole world itself, in this it kind of makes sense as they're running around and they're trying to smash things wherever Smorg is, etc. It fits the characters of the Hobbits to a T. So obviously that's a big plus point as well. So apart from the story mode, which feels a little bit scattered really as well. I mean, it kind of expects you to know about the movies already or the books. So if you're playing with someone younger who hasn't read the books, if you're playing with someone younger who hasn't seen the films, perhaps you don't feel they're old enough to watch it yet, they might find it a little bit disjointed, like, what are we suddenly doing here? Weren't we just there? How did they get from A to B to C? All those little things together. If you've seen the films or read the book, obviously it's going to make sense to you, but not everybody has. So obviously you've got to put that into the equation as well, which is a bit odd because if you look at the case, it says what, 7 years old, I believe, somewhere in the front or back. That's the age. Well, it's a Lego game, you're not expected for a mature audience, so a little bit let down once again. Even though it's got the original story to follow, it's not quite linear enough for me.
So gather your strength, gather your friends, and gather your courage.
Overall, there's plenty to love about the game and plenty not to love so much. I haven't even touched on the camera angle as well. A little bit irritating. Sometimes you're jumping around and hoping you'll get from point A to point B by jumping just because the camera is not moving, or if it is moving, in a very bad way. I didn't really find that with some of the other games, so a little bit of a letdown in that aspect. But take nothing away, this is a very solid offering. If you have a PlayStation 4 and you're looking for something new to play, obviously it's a bit limited in terms of games out there. This is a very, very good option. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, albeit the story was a little bit short, but it makes up for it by giving you lots of mining opportunities and solo missions, which you can do once you've unlocked that main level. Then you get all the little things you can do afterwards, of course, which I touched on, and it expands the entire map and keeps you playing in terms of other things that you can do. I'm also a bit let down by the story mode. Yes, I am familiar with the story of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, so I know exactly what's happening and why they're going from A to B in terms of the story. However, for someone that hasn't seen it or someone who hasn't read the books, they might find it a little bit disjointed, a little bit confusing. Visually, it looks stunning. It looks really well done. The developers have really made sure that all the gold, all the bricks, everything about it is Lego-fied. Is that a word I just made up? I think so. And it's done wonders. I mean, it really stands out and it's rich. And it looks very nice on the PlayStation 4. However, what isn't rich is the character variety. From playing something quite recently, I might add, on the PlayStation 4, Marvel Superheroes, where you can tell who each character are. You can tell the difference between this and this and this, but this one is not so good in that sense. However, at the end of the day, it's just about enough in terms of the variety of what they can do as a character to keep things interesting. I will give this a solid 7.5 out of 10.
My name is Bilbo Baggins. I'm a hobbit from the Shire.
Well, that could have been worse.
Oh, sadly, this brand new episode is at an end. But have no worries, because we'll be back same time, same place next week. Don't forget to join myself and my new buddy, who I'm going to imagine is right here, Zakrin. Yeah, he's new to the show, and obviously he's got plenty to show you, as do I. Also, thanks to the Art Cube here for hosting us. It's at the top floor of the Intermark, and Jam and Kai as well, for where we sat down and did our phone reviews. Our thanks to them for allowing us to come and shoot in that beautiful location. Now you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, etc. If you missed out on anything, we would love to hear from you in terms of anything you want to see in the future. My name is Adam Carruthers. Till next time.